You know, I feel like it is fair to assume that everyone is nostalgic for Pac-Man. I mean, there has to be a reason why there are all these Pac-Man products of pretty much everything.
There are so many cups, t-shirts, cheap plug-and-plays, and countless re-releases. You see, game companies know that we are all suckers that will buy anything with popular game characters from the past. They know that when we are shopping and we see Pac-Man on the shelves, we will flip out and all our childhood memories will come back of us playing Pac-Man on the arcade machine. I know when you look at me, your first thought is, this guy did not grow up with classic arcade games, but that's an anti-fact. My first memories with video games is me playing Congo Bongo on my arcade machine and thinking that when I died, I looked like Daisy Duck, don't question it. The whole reason I even own this arcade machine is because my dad grew up playing Galaga and it's his favorite game. So when he found out he could own an arcade machine where he could play it at home, he bought it. Even though it's not officially licensed, he didn't care, he just wanted an arcade machine where he could play Galaga. So what we have learned here is that people are willing to spend money on products purely based on nostalgia. And that's where dumb products that don't really need to exist come into play. They don't need to be quality, if you put Frogger on it, I'm sold. So companies like Bandai Namco license out their properties to pretty much anybody. They don't care, they just know that money is rolling in from the uncles who recognize incomplete circles. But how can these companies make the nostalgia money from people who know better? How about some retro game compilations? Take a bunch of well-known blasts from the past and make sure that they run well and sell them for 60 bucks. I vividly remember shortly after getting my Nintendo Switch for Christmas in 2022, I learned about this game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Cowabunga Collection. And I actually recognized the game on there I used to play on some website back in 2016. It was the original Ninja Turtles game on the NES. While this game may not have the best reputation, I can tell you that I like it. So when I learned it was an actual game and not some flash game, I knew I had to try it again. And in the process, I found some of my favorite games while playing it.
There was a time where I only had this and Mario Kart 8 on my Switch, and I poured hours into this compilation, and it's the best 60 bucks I've ever spent.
But how did we get to the stage where companies were willing to re-release all their retro titles, even though a lot of people who were playing back then are most likely not playing now? Most people point to the Wii Virtual Console from the Wii Shop channel, which is where Nintendo would re-release these games for a super cheap price. So if your kid wanted a new game, you could just go to the Wii Shop channel and buy them an NES game. Or you could buy them Ninja Breadman from your local shop for $20, but that's your choice. Plenty of kids would browse the Wii Shop channel, and if they found a game that looked interesting, because it was cheap, their parents would buy it for them. But also during this time, retro games weren't put on the same level because they were being sold for cheaper and were labeled as such. They weren't being put on the same level as newer games, but they were more popular. See, these older games appeal to more people than the newer games because they are more simple and easy to control for people who don't play video games. Do you think Grandpa's gonna understand this? Due to how much easier these games are to make compared to AAA games, a lot of indie developers who are passionate about games create 2D platformers just like how it was back in the day. If you are nostalgic for 8 and 16-bit games, you can easily find games based off your childhood favorites. Mario, Contra, Mega Man, there might even be one based on Jimmy Connor's Pro Tennis Tour, you never know.
You see, there is a lot of good that can come out of nostalgia for classic video games, but you have to remember, you're more likely to come across garbage than anything worthwhile, especially if it has Pac-Man on it. Jimmy Connor's Pro Tennis Tour merch when?